Since the dawning of time, there's always been this age-old question in a couple between what's encouraging and what's discouraging. What's the difference between being a good helpmate and nagging? No. I mean, there is no question about what nagging is. Where you going? Who you with? Who all gonna be there? Why you need to go with them? How much money you spend? How you go there? You did that? No you didn't. We all have seen it all, heard it all. But the other side of the game is where we draw a question. Which one is which? Yo, what's happening? This is Late Night CJ, and we back at it once again. Like I always do, I come across these clips, and rather than just be a reporter or give y'all the hot trending topic, sometimes I like to give you my perspective on it and just let y'all marinate with it. But to give y'all some context on what I was talking about previously, cue the clip.
My name is Farron, and my question is, what is the difference between, or being perceived, as between being a helpmeet and nagging?
Like I said earlier, the difference between being a good helpmate and nagging really boils down to two things: discouragement and encouragement. First, we have discouragement. That's the easy one. It's antagonistic, it's petty, it lacks depth, the delivery is challenged. It finds its way to be very surface level in an attempt to encourage them. But in reality, they trying to make that synonymous with bad delivery. It should not be that difficult to catch yourself when you are quote unquote nagging. You can tell by his response or her response. You can tell in their response when you are not doing what you intended. Now, everybody nowadays wants to use, tough love. Sometimes you gotta use tough love. Tough love can be a cross-reference with bad delivery. You understand me? Sometimes people want your discernment level to be on 99. Like if we was playing 2K, your discernment level gotta be on a 99, but their delivery level be like a 20. It's like, no. If we are working together as a couple, we gotta meet in the middle. You have to know who you are dealing with. Sometimes those conversations prior to committing to one another doesn't happen. Like y'all really need to sit down and talk about what works for you, what doesn't work for you. We will sit here and go just hop straight into the sack without ever having real, true to life conversations. Like, how were you raised? How do you raise children? What are your goals in life? How do you see yourself? Because sometimes you'll get with an insecure person and they will nag you to death because they need to keep control of you. A certain level of control, because once you have too much freedom, then maybe you'll get out there and see that you don't need them. So you'll get where you going? Who you with? Why you over there with them? Do you know them? I don't know them. How come you don't bring me around with them? We need to start going around them. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to have them over here. How come they don't come over here? You always want to go over there. They don't come over there. How come you don't do that? Well, you always loaning him money. You don't need to be loaning him no money. You don't need to be loaning your family no money. Why don't we have a joint bank account? Oh, wait a minute, baby. Wait a minute, because I don't see where you're trying to encourage me. A helpmate. Now, she used biblical references when she said a helpmate. It say in the scriptures, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. A wife and a husband, those aren't just legal titles that you give each other. Those are actual positions in each other's life. And when you get to know somebody, then you know what makes them work. Yes, as men, we are purpose driven. We are hunter gatherers. We need a purpose in life. If we don't have no purpose, we become self-destructive. Since we use in scriptures, you know what I'm saying? It says it wasn't good for a man to be alone. An idle mind is a devil's workshop. That's because we need a purpose. Now, when a man has a family, it now becomes his purpose. He gets up in the morning, goes to work, handles business, bring the check home, bring the bacon home, as they say. He's always a pillar in his household. He's there for his wife. He's there for his kids. He's an upstanding individual. All of those things, we have to have a purpose. Now, when a woman feels like she needs to encourage us, sometimes we have a purpose, but we don't have the drive behind it. Your job is to help ignite that, to turn the ignition to keep us moving towards our purpose. But when you start nagging nagging, that's like we trying to drive the car and you just reaching over, yanking on the wheel, and eventually we gonna crash out. See, yeah, that was a bar. I need to put that on the shirt. We will eventually crash out, and that leaves us in pure destruction. When you nag a man, you are little boying him. And how can you expect a man to act like a man when you talk to him like a child? Too many times women get way too comfortable because we don't feel comfortable voicing ourselves, swelling up in the chest, going down to the deep voice on y'all because we feel like that is uncharacteristic of a solid man to buck up on a woman. So we'll allow y'all to get off way more than y'all should, and then that turns to trying to punk us. And when you punk us, that turns into nagging. And nagging no longer becomes encouragement, it's discouragement. I'm discouraged at why I'm here. I'm discouraged on what I'm supposed to do. I'm discouraged in my purpose because I don't feel like you have my back. When you nag me, it says you don't believe I can handle it. And that is the problem. When we get to a point to where encouragement now bleeds over into nagging, somewhere in there we have stopped talking. We have stopped communicating. We have stopped drawing lines. I believe sometimes you do need to draw lines in the sand, even with your partner, to let them know that I'm not okay with this. When you get married, you are basically saying, I want to experience everything this life has with you. I don't want to experience it without you. So sometimes we have to draw these little lines in order to keep pushing the line forward. But when it gets to the point where you don't trust me and I no longer feel that I can trust in telling you how I feel, so now there's this shift. There's no balance in our communication. There will never be no balance in our love. And that's when people start slipping. And that's nowhere you ever want to be. Trust me. As a first ballot Hall of Famer in the worst cheaters ever, you do not want to be in that Hall of Fame with me. But this is Late Night CJ. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend. 100. Where you going? Who you with? When you coming back? Ooh,